Real credit card questions require real people, someone who understands your issues and works to resolve them with you. That's why Discover offers helpful US-based representatives available 24/7. Discover, exceptionally common sense. Welcome to the show, Jess. I'm actually really excited to have you on because I'm an athlete. You're a former athlete, but now you're inspiring a whole bunch of people around the world to get these workouts in. And look, I'm a 3-time Olympian and I struggle to get my workouts in. I'm so excited to have you today and can't wait to get into the business.
Same. I'm so excited to be here, Lolo. And can I tell you something?
Yes.
Can I tell you something it blew my mind when I just looked into it? We have the same birthday.
No way. So you're a Leo, huh?
August 5th.
August 5th, man.
August 5th. We have the same.
There's some high-powered stars that were born on August 5th. I feel like there's a lot of people in movies and stuff like that. So we kind of get overshadowed. But I'd have to Google it. But there's some legit people with August 5th. So I'll never forget your birthday.
Well, we were just destined for greatness.
That's so
yes.
Cool. Happy belated as well. Although I'm you're much younger than me, and so I'm going to claim your age, but I'll keep the birthday, but just change the year. So you're almost
much is a huge overstatement, I should say.
So I'll take being 30 years old. You just turned 30, right?
No, I'm 33.
The stats are still wrong on here. They have you as 30. So we have you as okay, well, nope. You're still younger than me, so I'll still take 33 over 39.
Hey.
So, but no, let's get into it. So describe yourself in 3 words, if you can, because the Leos can't do that usually.
Oh, Lord. All right, I'm not going to overthink this, okay? I'm not going to overthink it. I would say passionate, playful, and because I hate boring things. I always just try to make, the best of every situation, make people laugh. And so passionate, playful, let me not do another P for alliteration. That really shows my teacher. And energetic.
I like those. I like that whole combination. But so you did say
thank you.
You have a stack of books behind you. You said you used to be a teacher and now you're this, mega Peloton instructor. You're already got this so much diversity in your background. You got to tell me how you went from the jump from teacher to Peloton instructor. How, teacher to fitness. Was it how?
Yeah.
What happened in your life? You were just what kid pissed you off that day where you're you know what? I'm done with you guys. I'm going to train.
First of all, when people ask me if I miss teaching, I always say no, because I'm still teaching. I'm just teaching a subject that I'm much more passionate about. But ironically enough, the thing that I miss the most about education in a classroom is the kids. I miss the kids. So I'll back up because I know it seems how did this happen? I was an athlete my whole life. I got really serious about soccer, basketball, and lacrosse in high school. And then I was recruited to play basketball at Trinity in Hartford. And I was a 3-year captain of the basketball team there. And I studied Hispanic studies and psychology. And I've always loved learning. I've always been a good student. I've always loved, being in the classroom, things like that. And I'll never forget when I was at the gym in the bathroom, one of the flyers in college, it said Teach for America. And I just saw that. I Googled it and I was I'm doing that. And so I applied. And basically, for those of you that are not familiar with Teach for America, you essentially apply. You don't have to be a recent college graduate, but that's typically the main group of people that apply. And if they choose you, they bring you to a low-income area somewhere in the U.S., and you spend the first 2 years in the classroom as a teacher, and then you're a lifelong advocate of education because you really can't turn a blind eye after that. Yeah. So they put me in Houston. Because I speak Spanish because I studied it for 12 years. And so I taught 5th grade and 3rd grade from 2010 to 2012. And then I was recruited to open up an elementary school that was just starting with kindergarten up in Harlem. And I'm from Boston. And so all my friends and family are still up this way. So I was okay, it's closer to home, but it's not home. Let's do it. So I did that. And so I was with a small charter school in Harlem. And while I was in Houston, I got my master's years in education with a concentration in teacher
Overachiever.
leadership, and loved education. I told you I love school. I told you. I warned you. And then so I did that. I opened up the school as a kindergarten teacher, and within the network, there are 5 schools. And so they needed an operations director, someone who is logistical minded, but is very familiar with being in a school and helping teachers and students. So I was the operations director for 2 years at that middle school. And then I applied for my dream job back home where my dad grew up. I was actually born in Lynn Hospital, and my dad grew up in Lynn. I have a lot of family there. And I opened up another school as an assistant principal. And that was the year where everything kind of just like hit me in such a beautiful way. It's a beautiful way now, but back then I was like, what crisis am I going, like quarter life crisis at 26 years old. And so my former boyfriend at the time, he was in fitness in New York City. And so I got to see him loving his job, you know, moving and sweating and changing lives quite literally. And I said, I want to do that. Like I can see myself doing that. And so he said, you know, why don't you look into it? And I said, because look at me, like I've already gotten to be assistant principal, you know, 6 years into my career, I can't leave that. And so he helped me realize that I am destined to be a teacher. I was just in the wrong setting. So I had this like aha moment, mind-blowing moment. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And so I actually quit that job. The only thing I've ever like really quit. I quit that job, my dream job where I was assistant principal in December of 2015, moved back to New York City, January 2016. I was going to pursue fitness full time, but my school had to let their principal go and begged me to come back for the last 6 months as principal. So I came back because I love the kids and families, and you know it was definitely a tough year that everyone was going through. So from January 2016 to the end of June 2016, I was the principal, and while I was doing that, I got my NASM personal trainer certification. I went to a ton of different boutique studios here in New York City to kind of do my research. Right, I didn't want to just quit my job and say, okay, what's next? I wanted to see what I wanted to teach, what I was passionate about, and what made a great instructor great. Was it the playlist? Was it the program? Was it a combination of all the above? And so I just did all of that. And then I ended up getting a job at 2 different studios, a boxing studio, as well as a high intensity interval training studio. And I did that for 2 years.
How nerve-wracking was that jump? I mean, like you're literally moving up the ranks as a teacher, you know, and then assistant principal, then principal. And then you just like, I'm moving into fitness. Like that leap of faith has to be incredibly scary.
Well, it was. I mean, when I told my parents, they were like, no. They're like, absolutely not. Like, why would you ever do that? But it was to me, and I know this sounds dramatic, and I am a dramatic person, but I promise you this is not me being dramatic. It was like life or death to me. I felt like I was just I was just going through the motions. I was no longer challenged. I loved what I did, but I didn't feel like it was my purpose. You know, my purpose wasn't to teach math. And looking back on all the things that I did in all 5 of the 6 of the years that I was in education, I did something health and wellness related. When I was in Houston, I coached 2 co-ed basketball teams. When I was the kindergarten teacher, I led indoor recess and taught the kids Zumba classes. When I was in the middle school, I started an advisory and I helped shrink the school into small groups where the kids got to have one-on-one or 10-on-1 time with other adults in the building to talk about, current events, to do meditation. We brought in yoga instructors. We talked about different nutrition, alternatives to the unhealthy things that are out on the market now. And then when I was assistant principal, I was also the PE teacher. So the content that I teach at Peloton for families is actually content that I started to think about and develop as a principal and teacher.
Wow. So it all came full circle. That's incredible. I mean, especially for me, anytime you're talking about PE in elementary school and middle school, that's all up my alleys, and clearly that's what led me to the path I'm on. All right, Jess, now this is a very serious question. What do you do for fun?
Oh, the world's hardest. Okay. Well, I struggle with that because I do find my job fun, but I know that it still works. So I would have to say I spend time with my dogs and I go to restaurants. I love food. So restaurants, coffee shops, I love coffee, and taking my dogs is a huge bonus.
You forgot to mention that stack of books behind. That's not fun. What is a stack of towering books behind you?
Okay. Lolo, it's an actual bookshelf. Like it's a shelf. It's not like I'm playing Jenga. Like it's not going to fall down. And can I tell you, when we did live from home last year with Peloton, this was part of my set. I used to live in a studio apartment and I actually had this up and I color coded it because hello, it's so beautiful like this, right? When I tell you the number of DMs that I got asking me, oh, is it a shelf? Is it just stacks of books on the floor? How did I decide to color code it? It was more of a topic of discussion than any workout that I taught.
No one asked you about like what the books are. Are they fitness books? Or are they like, no, okay.
Well, some people did say, can you share what books you've read? But it's really embarrassing. I love books so much. That's not the embarrassing part. The embarrassing part is that I've probably read maybe a fourth of these. The rest are the ones that like I've purchased, but I haven't found time or made the time.
I like it, especially during the pandemic when everybody was trying to get their background right. Like you nailed it. For sure had the best, like I give you a 10 out of 10 for backgrounds for like,
wow,
for Zoom calls.
That says a lot. A lot of my teammates had a lot of plants and I was very stressed out because I'm not a great plant mother. So thank you.
Neither am I. That's why I stick to cactuses. Like that's the only plant I can have. So but perfect. Yeah, so you don't do much for fun. I mean, you got the dogs, which are incredible. Look, I'm not going to hate on dogs because I have a dog myself. But it sounds like you're just, you're kind of like me. You are so into your job. Your job is fun. And you sound super motivating and just focused and determined. And, I love that about you. So I have to ask, like, your job is essentially motivating others. Like, how do you motivate yourself when your tank is empty? Like if you have to just always dish it out and give people like the highest amount of energy so that they can change their lives, how do you recharge?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. It's tough because a lot of people think that because I am so energetic and I smile on camera and I do motivate all the time, that I'm motivated all the time. I think that it's a huge myth. And I also think that motivation is such a buzzy word and I kind of hate it because I think it's less about motivation and it's more about discipline. No matter how motivated I am, that's not going to get me out of bed in the morning when it's, 6 a.m. and I had a late class the night before and the dogs are passed out next to me. It's discipline and it's having a really deep, not just why, but I call it like an arsenal of whys. Like there needs to be more than one thing that gets you out of bed in the morning because not every day that one thing that motivates you or is your piece of discipline is going to get you out of bed. So what my why is, something that fulfills me and that helps me even on my toughest of days, is our members. We have over 5.9 million members worldwide. And especially in the last year, I've done a lot of reflection of like, why am I alive at this time, in 2020, 2021? And why am I given this platform that is global during a global pandemic? And I don't take that position lightly. And so I'm a source of connectedness when people feel super, super isolated. I'm a source of light and energy to people who don't get to see a smile on a daily basis. I'm a source of me time for all of the essential workers that are giving, and then they choose to take a 30-minute class of mine, and they actually choose that. Their free time that they have. And for those of you that can't see, I'm using air quotes because we don't have time, we make time. So if someone takes my class during time where they could be doing a million other things, I'm like, how dare I not show up and be my best self and help encourage other people to be their best selves? And I think the other thing about me that helps me stay super authentic is I work out for mental health as well. It's something that keeps me out of my head, into my body, super present. And I want to share that strategy, that coping mechanism, that way of living with other people.
That's so powerful. For sure. I agree with all of what you just said because like today was a nasty day. Like we're in a tropical storm in Louisiana. So there's been raining every day and I was just not feeling going out to work out. And I mean, I'm 5 months from the Olympic Games. So I should be so motivated. And I was like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to put my shoes on. I was just dragging. But like what you said is discipline. Like I'm so disciplined at this point no matter how my motivation was at a zero, you could have literally put a Olympic gold medal around my neck and I was so unmotivated to go to practice still. But my discipline is always at 100 just because I've done this so many times. I've literally like my discipline is just unbreakable. And so I still put my shoes on. I still went to practice. I literally drug myself through every tedious part of that workout. And then as I was there and then the motivation comes, like just fighting through those processes. And then I totally agree with what you said about mental health. Like so many times people think, you know, oh my gosh, she's working out for, you know, the Olympics and physicality. And I'm like, I would be a shell of a person if I did not have these workouts just for the mental benefits I get on a daily basis, like the endorphins that rush through your system after you've, you know, done a hard workout. It's just, that gives me so much more longevity than the fact that I, you know, okay, I can run or I can lift these massive amount of weights. It's really so much more for my mental state. So love what you just said there and shared that. And I hope that it's encouragement for other people who just like, oh, you know, I got to get in shape. But it's like, yes, but also your mind. So yes, very cool.
No, and what you said exactly, I say this all the time, is that motivation is cute. It's like motivation is a good playlist. Motivation is a cute workout outfit. You know, those are fun things. I'm like, okay, but a playlist and a cute workout outfit are not going to get you out of bed when it's raining out, when it's snowing out, when you have a million other things on your plate, you know? So it's that discipline. And the other thing that, like, the thing that makes me so happy is when I get a DM from a woman who says that they were a former athlete, but they, you know, lost themselves. They had a few kids. They went through a divorce. They got sick and they haven't found their inner athlete since taking my classes again. Or they've never been an athlete before. And for the very first time, they're lifting weights. They were always afraid of lifting weights. They only did cardio, you know, in college, and after college didn't do anything. And now they're doing all the dumbbell snatches and they say how powerful they feel. And that confidence that they now have from the tread, from the bike, and from the floor translates. They're now having the confidence to have difficult conversations with their partners. They're now being confident enough to, you know, ask for a raise at work. And so what you do when you're working out, it's tangible physical practice for doing hard things.
That's incredible. I love it. I gotta take one of your classes. I actually just recently did my first Peloton the other day. Yeah, I know. It was my first. So I got injured. I tore my adductor.
That's awesome.
I tore my adductor. And so I was like, the only thing I could do is bike workouts. And I was just like, my friend had a Peloton. So like, let me try this out. So everybody's talking about Peloton. Everybody's going crazy, all the rage. I was just like, let me try this out. I was dripping in sweat. So I was just like, yeah, this is like the real deal. So I loved it. So very cool. I am so excited to ask you this question because I just really want to know the similarities and differences between being a professional athlete and a Peloton instructor.
So many things come to mind, but first and foremost, we have to take care of our bodies. That is the huge thing. Our bodies are our jobs. And so we all have to do at least 2 hours of well care, whether that's massage, acupuncture, physical therapy, things like that every single week, because obviously if we are not able to teach our classes, we cannot do our jobs. The other thing too is I really consider the classes that I teach as game days, you know, and so those workouts are not really my workouts. Of course, I'm doing them the entire time, and I will dispel all the myths. The dumbbells are not hollow. If it says 25 pounds, it is a 25-pound dumbbell, I can assure you. But that just means that I have to do my own complementary workouts outside of Peloton. And the other myth too is that people think that I just work out all day and I'm doing burpees all day, and that's not the case at all. So since the bike and running, you know, it's in one plane of motion, I do a lot of lateral work. I do a lot of glute medius activation. I do a lot of rotational core, contralateral stuff. And so we have to prepare, we have to practice so that we can perform our best. And we're a team. Of course, we teach our classes individually. There are some, 2-for-1 classes where there's more than one instructor, but for the most part, we teach individually, but we are part of a greater team. So that's something that I absolutely love, is because I played, team sports my entire life, that we just get to cheer each other on. We get to wear the Peloton logo across our chests, on our backs, and support each other. So those are just some of the similarities of, Peloton instructors and professional athletes.
I would never have imagined you guys guys getting massages, acupuncture. Like that's something, you know, like that's my bread and butter. Like I have to get those treatments. Otherwise my body is just taxed and I can't go out there and perform. But I mean, I guess if you guys are out there and it's high energy and you're not using those hollow dumbbells like people think, that yeah, you have to like put it all on the line. And so if your body's beat down, there's no way you can actually perform and be at your best. So that's incredible. So I'm trying to think what else. So the game days are like when you go live, and then like how many people are attending your class per se? I know on average, I know it changes up.
Yeah, it varies. I mean, there have been, I think the most has been over 50,000 people in one live class.
That's crazy. That's pretty much like a track meet right there. World championships. Well, if you don't count like the TV viewership, but like less of like a stadium full of people.
Right. And it depends on so I'm all over the map. I teach strength classes, I teach running classes, I teach bike boot camp, and I teach tread boot camp. And I teach walking, stretching, all of that. But, you know, my Saturday 60, which is one of my favorite classes that I teach, it's a 60-minute tread boot camp. I usually have around 2,000 to 3,500 people every single Saturday.
That is crazy. Why is it becoming like such this crazy phenomenon? Like you guys are actually becoming celebrities within the community. Like Peloton instructors are actually legit celebrities now. Like on Instagram, like they're really like highly followed. Like people are curious about you. Like they want to know the inside deets of your life. Like why do you think that is?
Well, so speaking of we talked about similarities between, you know, Peloton instructors and professional athletes.
You guys have fans.
No, a huge difference is that we are speaking directly to Betty Sue from Nebraska. We are speaking directly to her in her home, in her kitchen, in her living room, in her office, when she's had a bad day, when she's, you know, trying to lose weight, when she's struggling with something at work. I'm not only speaking to her, I'm sharing things about my own life. So if I've had a rough day and I say, you know what, y'all, I had to take Sienna and Shiloh to the vet today. They had some sort of worm. They had diarrhea all over the house. And, you know, I need to sweat this out. Betty Sue was like, oh my gosh, my dog had diarrhea too. I didn't know this about you. You have a dog. I have and then these connections form. And then you communicate. There's a huge social media piece. So I'll post something before or after class. I love to go live on Instagram just because it's so easy, just to say, all right, y'all, we just crushed that class together. How did we do? And then they're like, you're so mean. I'm part of the curse out crew. That class was so hard, but I loved it. And I got so many high fives from so many people. And it's all about community. So the secret sauce of Peloton and about why members love the instructors and each other so much, because there are so many subgroups. There's Black Girl Magic. There's, you know, the moms of Peloton, working moms of Peloton, dads of Peloton.
Where's the single group? Single, looking to mingle, get married, have some kids. Is there a group like that? That's the one I want to join.
Oh my gosh. Wait, you're gonna die, because last year, or actually this year, what am I saying? We're still in the year. I did a series called Speed Dating.
Oh.
And so we literally did 20-minute runs in the month of February around Valentine's Day, and there were hashtag Peloton singles.
Was it like co-ed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Was it like,
and we played like Would You Rather?
Were people actually like matching up like on Bachelor, Bachelorette? Like, or no?
Oh my.
What's your?
Well, I mean, I don't follow up with it there, but it was so cool because I think it's Peloton Singles, and it's a Facebook group. And whether or not you're actually going to meet these people in real life, or you just, you know, make friends, there are people that travel all over the world before the pandemic, of course, to come to what we call Homecoming. It's an annual get together that was actually started by members years ago. And it was very, very small, like maybe 40 people. And right before the pandemic, so 2019, we had over, I think it was 3,500 plus members that came to New York City to meet the instructors, to meet other members, and like just enjoy each other's company.
That's dope. Okay, so basically I'm getting a Peloton. I'm going to be all glammed up on my workouts. I'm going to have like hair, flawless, lipstick. I'm like, I thought this was a singles group. And then like 5 minutes in, I'm going to be sweating it out. Just like mascara is dripping down my eyes. I'm like, I'm just trying to beat a guy. I'm just trying to beat a date.
Yes. And he will be there and he will be like, yes, high-fiving Lolo Jones. Yep, here we go.
Well, I'd rather a guy see me at my worst looking, sweating. I mean, if he can handle that, then he can handle me all polished up. So that's a good place to
Please.
meet.
You are
Thank
gorgeous,
you.
sweaty, and not.
But it sounds like I got to join that class. So I love that you broke down the similarities and differences between athletes and instructor. It blew me away just knowing that. Like, I would not have imagined like the massages, the acupuncture, like that's legit things that I get on a regular basis. So very cool. And this is obviously a change of subject, but National Dog Day recently happened. Did you participate?
Listen, in my house, every day is National Dog Day.
Facts.
Sienna Grace and Shiloh, they're celebrating. I mean, I need a Jess Day or a human day or a dog mom day, because then that would be a change of pace.
Yeah, I don't even know why there's one day designated towards dogs. Like, literally,
Right?
there's just so much joy. There's like every day, like you said it. I would say the same thing for that question. And your dog's name is Sienna Grace, so your dog has a first and last name. I love that.
Okay. Lolo, listen, okay, I have a very weird talent, I'm going to call it, or a skill, where I don't give a middle name just like at the start. Like when I rescued her name was Sienna, and I just kept it because she looked like a sienna. And one day she pissed me off. She did something, and it just came out. I said, Sienna Grace. And it ever since then has stuck. And I've done that with a lot of people too. So if I give you a middle name just randomly once, it will be your middle name forever.
Wow. So I need to call you up when I have kids. I struggle with names. Like, I really
Yes.
I need, you have a talent that is very hard. I feel like I'm just looking, my kids are probably, I'm just gonna eat them like a bag of chips. And I'm like, my kid's gonna be called barbecue, because I like literally struggle naming things.
You know what? That's a great name.
Barbecue?
BBQ for short.
BBQ.
I should have named Shiloh Socks because he's eating a pair of socks to my left
Socks
right now.
is cute.
So cheers.
Socks is definitely, but Shiloh's as well cute. So I don't know. And now a message from Discover about customer service and common sense. When you have credit card questions, it's nice to have them answered by a real person. Someone who can actually understand your issues and work to resolve them. In other words, what you don't need is a robot. And that's why Discover offers helpful US-based representatives available 24/7. No wonder we call it live customer service. Discover, exceptionally common sense. Moving on to like fashion, since you're talking about socks, which I'm pretty sure someone did this. Met Gala is known for their notorious styled outfits. I'm pretty sure someone wore a sock there. Did you see any of the outfits?
I did, of course. I didn't watch it, but of course I watched or saw so many posts on Instagram. And here's the thing. I feel like I called them costumes. They're not costumes.
I feel like they're costumes. At this point, they're no longer outfits. I feel like they're just doing the most. It's definitely costumes. I don't like... They're not outfits, because I'm not there. I could not see myself wearing the things that they're wearing to anything, like not to like a ball, not to the grocery store, not to like a prom. I'm not wearing any of this. It's either half naked or craziness, like just random. Like it's like a fancy Halloween to me.
You know what? That's a great way of putting it, because there's some of the outfit costumes that I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awful. Like I could never imagine wearing that. But then did you see the memes on Instagram too, where it's like me sitting at home, not a fashionista at all, judging all of the Met Galas. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. Like I feel attacked.
No, I feel attacked, but it's right. It's accurate. We should be judging them. Sometimes they lose their ways. These celebrities, I feel like when they're in the business too long, maybe they've just lost sight of. Like, okay, so you said you saw the outfit. So the theme was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like American independence, something like that. I think it was like American independence, independent America.
The American lexicon. Well, see, you bring up a great problem. I would like at the Met Gala next year to not even know the theme, but by looking at it, I should know.
Yeah, that never happens. You're never going to look at the outfits post and be like, yeah, the theme was freedom. It's never going to happen. But anyways, the theme was American independence, I believe. And so which was just, it was craziness. Like someone had a quilt. Like it looked like Rihanna's boyfriend. What's his name? Whatever, Rihanna's boyfriend. She's a billionaire.
A$AP Rocky?
Yeah, we can say that now because she's a billionaire. But A$AP Rocky had he was wearing a quilt, literally a quilt. And like something like his grandmother knitted. That's what he wore down the red carpet. And I do get that because American independence is like, I can see a grandma knitting that. But again, it's not something you could wear anywhere. So the grocery store to prom. It's like he wore a quilt on the red carpet. Kim Kardashian West or Kim, I don't know. Yeah. What do you think of her outfit?
Wait, tell me you're still with Kanye without telling me you're still with Kanye.
That was it. Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, someone, I don't even want to, like, did you see the memes on her, like standing next to her sister where it was just like, cause
me talking to my anxiety.
Yeah, my anxiety. So like her sister went all fabulous in like this see-through dress, and then like, her, like Kim shows up. We don't even know if it's Kim. It could be like a body double because she's like covered in this black head to toe drab. Like she basically looks like the Grim Reaper. Like she.
Wait, but Lolo, did you see how she came there though? She came there in a full black leather.
Yeah,
zip,
I saw the zip up.
Her face.
Yeah, I saw the zip up. It was just like, I didn't know if she was like actually literally going to film a porno. Like it was, it was aggressive. It was very aggressive. But to be honest, if that was not Kim under those masks, because we'll never know, is actually quite brilliant. True. Because maybe she's just tired of doing red carpet. So then she just hires a body double, just zips up her face. No one knows if it's her, and boom, she's at the Met Gala. But literally the real Kim is at home or in the hotel just eating caviar. Wow. This is brilliant. But yeah.
You know what? We gotta clap it up for her because that's, that was brilliant.
I did like the Met this year. They actually had a ton of athletes, which I was shocked by. They had Allison Felix. Yeah, she was there. She looked gorgeous. And then Sha'Carri was as well there. She's obviously the biggest talked about track athlete right now since she had the ban for testing positive for marijuana at the Olympic trials. So it was cool to see, a lot of trackies there. And then, you had Simone Biles, gymnasts. And so that was cool. Like that was the most Olympians I've actually ever seen at the Met Gala. It's a very hard ticket to get. I mean, the tickets are $35,000 a pop. So
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. The tickets are $35,000. Yeah. $35K. So I don't think my track buddies paid that. I think their Olympic gold medals got them in for free. But no, their companies pay, like companies. So like Allison's shoe sponsor probably paid for the table that got her in, and then Nike probably paid for Sha'Carri. So I'm pretty sure that's how that rolls. But anyways, I didn't get the invite. So I'm like Khloe Kardashian because Khloe's actually never been invited to the Met Gala. So she's deemed as not popular enough for the Met Gala. Like only her two other sisters, Kendall, Kylie, and Kim have made the cut. And obviously Kris, the mom, has made it. But Khloe and who's the other one?
Wow.
Who's the other one?
Courtney
have never made the cut. They're not big time enough to make the cut for Met Gala.
Maybe. Well, if you really want to go, maybe you should talk to Kim's people, and then you can go as her body double next year, and she can go in an all white outfit. Maybe
that's an option too, or win a medal. Maybe. Well, maybe that might get
given. You're gonna win.
Yeah, I just maybe it's just not for me. I don't know. It's just getting outlandish. It's like I said, it's like a bougie Halloween. I don't know. It's just not. I'm not there yet. I wouldn't even know what to wear. What would you wear? Like if you go, you might as well just have like a Peloton bike at this point. Like it's just so ridiculous. Like
oh my gosh, what if that was part of my costume?
What if it was, or what if you actually rolled up? Instead of like a black limo, you rolled up like with like a Peloton somehow. Yeah, I don't know. You just gotta.
I'm gonna find a ticket. I'm going next year. I'm speaking it into existence right now.
Speak it out there. I mean, because $35K, that's money. I mean, I guess they're raising money for a good cause. So, yeah. But that's all the scoop I have. So let's go on to some other stuff. I have to ask this, and is it true a customer named Paul wanted to ask his girlfriend Sarah to marry him in a special way? So Paul got creative and asked for some help from you, his Peloton instructor. Is this true, Jess? Explain the story.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Paul and Sarah. This was so cute. And actually it's happened quite a few times, or at least we get asked quite a bit at Peloton because Like I mentioned earlier, we are talking directly to our members every single day. So there's this sense of closeness and just special, bond. And so, and then plus it's TV, right? It's like I'm on their screen. And so he reached out to me on Instagram and I didn't see it. And then he wrote me an email and I was like, okay, this is adorable. And also it was during the pandemic. So I was teaching live from home. I wasn't even in the studio at that time. And so I sent it over to my team at Peloton and I said, can we pull this off? And they said, okay, let's reach out to Paul. And right after I finished teaching, I just did this little clip. I recorded it from my bedroom/studio apartment. And I just started to do a workout. And I said, all right, Paul, let's get into a half kneeling position. And then I said, you can take it from here. And he did it and he recorded it. And it was so beautiful. It was incredible. And to see Sarah's face and it was just awesome.
I'm trying not to cry right now. So this was aired the whole class so everybody can see this?
No, so it wasn't live. No, Robin actually has done a live proposal, but this is just one that I did for him.
Okay. That's amazing. Yes. So did she say yes?
Yes. And he put it up on YouTube and shared it with our team and all of that. So
I'm like, that'd be horrible if she said no.
Well, then I would feel responsible. I'd be like, oh, shoot. But I'm 1 for 1.
Awesome. Look at you. See, this is why I need to do the singles class. Look, you're a one-stop shop to get me out of these single streets.
You're welcome.
You can help me find someone. Then you can help me with the proposal. This is I
got it all.
I need you in my life. Yeah, I got it all. What is your biggest success and your biggest failure?
Lolo, I struggle with these successes and failure questions only because it feels so finite. It feels like a success is a one and done thing and a failure is a one and done thing. And so I guess I can say that. Okay, I'm gonna get very Jess, instructor on you right now. Failure to me is just feedback, and so it's also redirection. So and it's not stable. So something that I thought was a failure years ago, like for instance, I applied to Harvard for because I thought I wanted to be a superintendent of schools, and I applied to Harvard for a PhD program, and I didn't get in. So back then, I considered that a failure. Fast forward, if I got into Harvard, I would not be where I am today because I would have been, in my PhD program and things like that. So to me, that was just a redirection that actually opened the doors for me to explore other options and explore other things that are really, really true to who I am. But I will say that something, not even a regret. Again, I hate these static words, regret or, failures, but I think that as a younger Jess, I didn't put myself in situations to fail. I played it safe a lot of times growing up because I was so afraid of that word failure, of making mistakes. And I was also afraid to experience what other people would say about me. I'm biracial and I grew up in a predominantly white area, and I feel like I was always worried and so affected by what people said to me. I'd be having such a great day, everything is awesome, and then someone could say one thing to me and it would completely change the course of my day. And so because of that, I, was a little bit more timid in the choices that I made. So if it wasn't for my mom and my dad who pushed me to try out for the basketball team, I wouldn't have tried out, because I was so worried about rejection and failure. So that's what I would say about failure. And then successes. I think that my big thing right now is celebrate everything and then get back to work. I feel like we constantly live in a world of right? You either celebrate or you're working. It's no, why can't we do both? It's either we're happy with who we are or we're doing a ton of work on ourselves. No, why can't we do both? And I talk about this often in class. It's the power of the and. It's celebrating the fact that I'm working on myself. Currently, that's something that I'm super proud of, is that I am working through all of these things that I just mentioned to you, identity and discipline and getting out of my own way. But I'm also proud of who I am right now, and I am enough right now. So I think that is a success, and I think that just even in the past 6 months, if we're looking at, finite things or things that are, more tangible, it's I bought my first home in New York City. I got another dog. I'm a proud dog mom of 2. I have agency representation. Those are all really great things and I'm so proud of them. But when I think immediately of successes, I think about the work that I'm doing on myself as a human being.
Wow. I mean, Golly, that is a lot I can break down, take away. So first off, talking about the failures are not finite or are static, as you said. I love that because you're right. Like even in my life, some of my biggest failures, like losing the Olympic gold medal, had that not happened, I wouldn't have diverted and become a winter Olympian, which is something only a few people have done, compete in the summer and winter Olympics. So I hate that it happened, but it happened, and it was actually a better stat. Like there's thousands of Olympic medalists, but like there's only 11 people that in the United States that have ever gone to a summer winter Olympics. So love what you said. Just those failures, they're not static. Like they're turning points, they're pivot points, they're dynamic, they change you, and they can leapfrog you if you use it. And so that's really incredible that you said that. And I love this definition of success, your biggest success. So I'm still, I don't know. For me, I'm a little bit vain. I would actually say my biggest success. I'd be like, yeah, it's like I broke the American record, became the fastest, female hurtler ever.
Well, that's
dope.
Like
I'm gonna kind of brag on that. I'm like, sorry, I'm not as humble as you. I'm like, yeah, my inner self and.
No, but I'm serious. Well, can I tell you, in being totally transparent, it freaks me out to even saying that I just purchased my first home in New York City. This is the first time I've ever.
That's a baller move, though, because New York is expensive. Yeah, that's a baller move for sure. I probably would have bragged about the fact that I've had 50,000 people attend my class. Like I would be like, yeah, I'm a Peloton instructor. I have 50 people, 50,000. Like, sorry, I said 50. I would have 50. You have 50,000, but me, I probably have.
Please, no, it wasn't me that had 50,000. Robin had 50,000 for Thanksgiving.
Well, hey, Thanksgiving, that's incredible. People actually working out on Thanksgiving. They're like,
oh my gosh,
my coach gives me an app. I think he does this on purpose. Every Thanksgiving, he gives us a workout, and it's literally, it says just abs on there. And I'm like, I don't know if he's being funny because I've never done it before. And I'm like the hardest worker, but I'm not doing an ab workout on Thanksgiving where it's like the opposite. Nope. Like my stomach is like 9 months pregnant. I'm not doing abs. It's not happening.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's a joke. Catch you tomorrow, coach. I'll do it tomorrow. But I love those answers though. But yeah, that's huge though. Peloton, man, I need to get a job at Peloton. Forget the Olympics. I'm doing this all wrong. Shoot.
Let's go.
No, I don't have the inspirational take on it. When I work out, I get very quiet. So it's just years of training and like a grunt, so I don't think people understand how hard it is actually talk while you're working out. Like that is a skill in itself. It's gnarly. Like I'm like, if I have to even tell someone like a runner who's about to cut me off, hey, give me some space, I'm so out of breath. I just like say track. Like we just scream track. Like that's our word. It's just like track, and that means get the F out of the way. But like you're doing like a whole like, all right, guys, like we got like a whole bunch more sets. Let's go. And my dog, like he was having a bad day at the vet. Like I would be like me if I had to do you right now. I'd be like, my dog, vet. 20 more. I don't know. I lost count. 5 more sets. I'm trying to do the playlist and all that. Like you're a DJ, you're a coach, you're actually doing the workouts. Like it's just too much for me. Whatever they're paying you guys, they need to pay you more because there's a lot of jobs you're doing.
Well, look at that. Yes, Peloton. No, I feel very valued at Peloton. I'll definitely say that. But yeah, at the end of, it's so funny because we have a green room of where all the instructors, like we get ready and stuff before we go into the classes. Cause we have just one big studio in New York City. It's called Peloton Studios, New York. And there's a yoga room, a cycling room, a tread room, and a strength room. And so all the instructors are in one room together before we go into the separate rooms. And the energy that you have after teaching, you're like, oh my gosh, I need water. I'm so hungry. And that class was great. And then the other instructors that haven't taught yet are much more
because they're like getting prepared for battle. Like, that's for sure how that's how a call room is at World Championships or Olympics. So the pre-call room is the call room we go into before we actually go out onto the Olympic stadium. It's very quiet. Like, you're just trying to conserve your energy and your, all that. Yes. But then the call room after, like it's called the mix zone. It's where we talk to the press, and it's like where we talk to the other athletes. It's like everybody's talking. It's loud. It's like, people are throwing stuff, like, their bags. It's just chaos. So very cool. So another similarity, if you wanted to know that. So talk about the music that you kind of grew up on, flashbacks, and have to just wonder if you incorporate some of that into your playlist today.
Girl, almost all of my songs are throwbacks. I love 90s R&B and hip hop. So it's a huge blend of that. And then I hope that this resonates with you. Jock jams.
What is it?
Jock jams.
Like,
oh my gosh, all the volumes, like Hip Hop Hooray, Pump Up the Jam.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was just like,
all of the songs that you would hear, you know, with the DJ at my basketball games or at the football stadium, or just like to pump up the whole, everybody dance
yeah,
now.
but that's weird though, because you're 33. So like that gap kind of wasn't you. Like that was totally me. Cause like I'm an 82 baby. So like I was in the car the other day with my makeup artist and he goes like, you know, let's listen to some oldies. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking he's going to put like some stuff from like the 60s and 70s on. He puts Destiny's Child on. I was like, oh, hell no. Destiny's Child is not the oldies, but he's a 90s. I think he's like late 90s. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is oldies for him. You know, I was like, it actually is like 20 something years, like longer than 20. What is it like? What's like 2000? Yeah, they were prime like 2000.
Yeah.
So that's like, 20 something years. That's oldies. So, but yeah. So anyways, I don't know how you have that because you're a little bit past that.
No, I love it so much. And Space Jam, one of my all-time favorite movies. Like I play Welcome to the Space Jam. Like I love it.
That
so
is actually
much.
a good song to warm up to.
Right?
I will say that. Yeah. But that, I mean, that's you. So you have, I mean, I always struggle with the playlist. I always get so tired of my music. Playlist is incredibly important.
Yes.
Music is incredibly a game changer. For sure. Like there's depending on like how upbeat it is or the lyrics or whatever, like they can totally change your pace in a workout. They can give you just a bump of energy when you need it. Like, I think there's actually a study on that music actually, makes, people work harder, like not even just working out, like just other, things as well. So, my coach is really big on, having music. He doesn't like, some coaches don't allow music, but like my coach is like all for the music. So, that's incredible. But I need to basically get your playlist. But you wouldn't like my playlist. My playlist is like all over the place. So,
no, listen, the only music that I don't really love, I don't do country, unfortunately, and I don't do a ton of like rock or metal. Those are the ones like that I don't do. But otherwise, hip hop, pop, Caribbean, dance hall, reggae.
Do you do any soundtracks?
Yeah.
So like I was just recently asked at the NBC Olympic media shoot, what's on my playlist? And like, I was like, oh, everybody's saying like Rihanna, Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, Hans Zimmer. Do you know who Hans Zimmer is?
Yes.
Exactly. Because he's got so many soundtracks and epic soundtracks. Like he's got The Lion King. He's got Inception, freaking Gladiator, all these. So like, if you're trying to go on a run, there's nothing more iconic than going on a run to like a music that's like got like you feel like you're in a movie.
Totally.
So like I do that vibe all the time.
I love that.
So people are like, "What is this you're listening to?"
Well, I mean, that's another plug for Peloton because we do artist series classes too. So like we highlight different artists, especially like for Black History Month and Latin Heritage Month, which we're in right now. But yeah, there's so many, and we have so many different genres of music, and we do decades, we do all of that. We do moods, like if you're confident, if you're happy, if you're going through something sad, like there's a playlist for each of those things.
Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just need the playlist.
Yeah,
so I can just be
check
sad
it
at
out.
home crying.
Yes.
That is cool. So what's your go-to, I mean, I'm sure you can't pick, what's your go-to song? Do you start off slow and then work your way into it, or just get them like that energy right off the bat?
It depends on how I'm feeling, to be honest, or it depends on like what class I'm teaching. Like tomorrow I have a 20-minute arms and shoulders class, and so that does not need to be heavy out the gate. Like that can just be like, let's ease you in with some Drake or something, and then we pick up like towards the end. But then I also have an EDM, 60-minute boot camp coming up, and so that I like to play something that makes you nostalgic and makes you feel good, and a song that everyone really knows. And then, of course, at the end, you have to go all out.
Oh, so you play a lot of songs that people know. Do you ever like try to just like, oh, they don't probably know this song, but let me just drop it in, like give them a new song? No, or more about the songs they know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I do a mixture of both. And what I've found is that if I love it, then it's contagious, like then other people will love it simply because I'm like, oh my gosh, this song gets me so hyped. Like I could, lift 100 pounds over my head. And like, then other people are like, oh, what's that? And then you can heart it on your screen and then it like makes a playlist for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess. I mean, dang, if you don't know anything about Peloton, you're just dropping knowledge because I actually don't really know that much about Peloton. So I'm just like, man, they got all this tricks and fancy stuff. Geesh. So how long do you work on your playlist? Like, is it a lot of work or do you try to collab with like a DJ per se, or you just, at this point, you just know your audience?
So we do have a DJ that does DJ classes. I haven't done any with him, but he's incredible. His name is DJ John Michael, and he does cycling and running classes. I think it's like once a week. But no, I make all my own playlists, and something like I mentioned, the 20-minute arms and shoulders class, like that, it just needs to be 20 minutes. You need a 2-minute stretch at the end. But something like my 60-minute boot camp, my Saturday 60, that's an art form. Like that is, not only do I need it, I need to like think about, okay, 35 minutes into a workout, people are, gassed. Like I need something that's going to pick them up at that 35-minute mark, to re-energize them. So it's that. And then it's also timing. So for a boot camp, you go tread or bike, tread, floor, tread, floor, tread, floor. So 6 times. So I also like to make sure that a song is ending. So it kind of feels like that part of the workout is done. So it's also a timing thing.
I mean, I don't know how you do it. I can't even I'm like, my playlist is on shuffle and I get super frazzled just trying to create my playlist, just warming up for 20 minutes before a competition. So I don't even know how you're doing 60 minutes and like timing it to end. Like this just sounds super difficult and I'm just going to stick to my little shuffle. I'm always like, next.
You got to help me. We got to offline and you can help me with my next playlist.
I got some weird stuff. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely help you. But I feel like I'll be taking more of your stuff than the other way around. So, but yeah, love the details that go into your class. I'm sure all your members appreciate that. And I can definitely appreciate the hard work that you're putting into this playlist. So, all right, Jess, this is my last question for you. I want to know what's the best advice you've ever received and your worst advice.
Ask as many questions as possible in your first year, because after that first year, if you ask a question, people are going to be like, wait, you finished a full year and didn't ask that or didn't know that? I heard that when I was a teacher and I was like, noted. Okay. So I asked a million questions when I was a teacher.
That's a
good one. Like a million. And then the other one that was very Peloton specific is Dennis Morton, who is a cycling, meditation, and yoga instructor at Peloton, and such a great guy. I knew him from the fitness industry a little bit before coming to Peloton. And when I was leaving my first, orientation, I had just gotten the job, but hadn't, started teaching anything yet. I asked him, what should I do? Like, what's going on? And he said, be yourself. He said, the worst thing that you can do is take another instructor's classes and try to be more like them. Peloton hired you because they want you to be the youest you. So highlight that. Don't be afraid of the you and really lean into it. And that was really beautiful because it gave me permission to really be myself. And because it's hard, like even as an athlete, you see an Olympian like yourself, this is what I eat in a day. And it's like, okay, I'm going to eat exactly what she eats. But it's like, well, maybe you have some sort of gluten intolerance. Maybe you have some sort of pre-existing condition that I don't. So it doesn't make any sense to copy. You know what I'm saying?
We have it all the time. And yeah, like running, we try to like copy other people's running form. Like they have runners have their own kind of tick when they run. And it's like even hurdlers will try to copy other hurdlers' technique. And it's just like, no, there's a reason why your leg kicks out this way as opposed to theirs. Like this actually helps you better in this way, but it hurts you. But like it's you though. For some reason, this package works for you. So.
Yeah. So the worst advice I would say is with social media. I feel like I felt some pressure early on because I was in fitness for 2 years before Peloton, and I've been with Peloton for 3 years. So I've been in fitness for 5. I just got a lot of bad advice about social media, like keep posting, like just post to stay relevant, and don't respond to DMs because that doesn't, that doesn't give you the biggest bang for your buck. It's not, because you might as well, if you're going to respond to one person, put it on your story so everyone can see it. And while there is some validity, in terms of giving some knowledge, like if someone says, Jess, what shoe do you recommend wearing? Of course, that's cool to also put on your story, but people want to feel seen and heard. And so if someone reaches out and tells me like a specific story that something's going on in their life, and if I have the time, because obviously now we have a lot of followers, so it's impossible to get back to every person. But when I do have the time, I really do like to sit down and answer messages, because that matters. That sense of closeness, that sense of like, I see you, that matters, versus putting out a picture of me saying,
yeah,
peace out. Like, that's the caption. And it's like, what does that mean? Like, I like to add value in social media. So I either like to make someone laugh, I like to give knowledge, or I like to inspire.
Oh, you're like me, but I don't do the knowledge. I like to make them laugh or inspire them. I give them knowledge to like, workout tips every now and then, but like definitely the laugh and inspiring. And I love responding back to people as well. I'm just so bad. I don't have time to do it, especially like training, right. But like, there were times where I just knock out a ton just because it's like, it's for me, like posting does feel shallow. So I love how you talked about that. It's like, okay, here's me doing this cool event or like, showing off this. And it's like the DMs are just like, people don't know what goes down in the DMs, but like, that's where you actually get to like actually have real conversations. I'm a big voice note person on DMs because like I make a lot of typos because I type, like I'm just bad and my grammar is always bad. So like, and I don't want people to think it's not me typing back. So I always just do voice notes. Like I usually just like send them a quick voice note, like answering their question. So, but I love the DMs. That. Like how often do you think like how many do you shoot out a day? Or if you had to guess?
It really depends. Can I tell you though, before the pandemic, before when I had less than 100,000 followers, I used to not go to sleep at night until I responded to every DM.
Wow. You are gold.
Obviously.
You are gold.
No, but most people are like, Jess, you're wild for doing that. And it wasn't wild back then, but now it's impossible. I would never sleep. I'm
going to DM you like 200 times. Like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite shoe color? Just like every now and then I'm just going to pop in your DM, just like these random questions. Like, you're going to be like, you're going to get so tired of me. Like, Lolo, stop it. You're just killing my DMs right now.
No, it varies. Like on a day off, I might, answer a bunch but then I might go 3 days without not responding to any of them.
Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about social, we have to drop the handle. So what's your Instagram handle or your social media?
Oh, it's at Jess Sims, SIMS fit, FIT.
Okay, cool. Well, you're not doing that with TikTok too. Do you have TikTok?
I have TikTok, girl, but I have not posted. I just wrote, my name is the same. I have the name, but I don't post. Okay.
Well, you'll be there soon.
That's too much.
Yeah. Don't fight it. Everybody joins TikTok. I just fought it too. Now I'm on, I don't post that much though. But yeah, so follow Jess Sims out. She's incredible. She's gonna make you laugh, inspire you, or drop some knowledge on you. Jess, thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. Loved hearing about your transition from teaching and now continuing to teach with Peloton. I can't wait to personally check out your class because I just see so much attention to detail goes into it, from the playlist to just making sure that you are in tune with the people that are logging on for that class. You're a game changer, a life changer. And so thank you again for coming on the show and sharing everything with us.
Well, Lolo, you are amazing. I feel like we're friends, so I feel like we should hang out after this. We have the same
birthday, so we can celebrate our birthdays together.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.